Hey babes, y'all know I love me a little non-traditional sonography career tingy ting to tell you about. So I recently went on a crisis assignment. If you've heard of crisis assignment, good for you. But I ain't really know what a crisis assignment was until now. So you have crisis assignments and you have a strike assignment. So a strike assignment means that the hospital is on strike and they are deploying you out to wherever the strike is. They book your flight, they book your hotel, and they pay you and stuff. Cool. But a crisis assignment is different. A crisis assignment typically is like a 4-week assignment in which they still need somebody to act quickly. They usually have you start your assignment within like 10 days of the job posting. It's like pretty normal. You book your own flights and you book your own accommodations. However, you are reimbursed for your flight, and then you're given a housing and meal weekly stipend, as well as getting paid a high hourly rate and usually guaranteed overtime each week as well, which was awesome. What's different from that versus like a traditional assignment is traditional assignments are usually 8 to 13 weeks. They still reimburse you for your flights or your mileage, as well as they give you a weekly housing and food stipend, but you're there 13 weeks. So I love the crisis assignment because I love me a little cruise. I'm not a cruise. Oh my gosh. I love cruising, but that's beside the point. I love me a little assignment. Like 4 weeks was like a very sweet spot for me. It's like I'm there long enough to like create some sort of routine for me while I'm there. But like, I'm not there long enough to like get bored or get tired of like being there and stuff like that. And what's also nice about a crisis assignment is a lot of times crisis assignments might be like 412s, okay? That means you're getting a guaranteed 8 hours of overtime every single week. And traditional assignments usually are 36 to 40 hours per week, okay? So it's no overtime. And strike assignments oftentimes are like 60 hours for 1 week. So you are getting 20 hours of overtime each week. So that's kind of like the different, I'm gonna say like tiers or types of travel assignments, but this crisis assignment. So how did it happen? So I was like in the midst of signing I'm gonna call it a mini assignment. It was going to be a 6-week assignment, local contract at home. Okay. I was in the midst of signing for that. And then I get this message from this recruiter in which I was kind of establishing a relationship with, but I had never worked with that agency before. And she messaged me like, you still only looking for strike assignments? And I was like, yeah, basically. So, she was like, I hope that works well for you, blah, blah, blah. 3 hours later, I swear, she hit me up like, hey, I got this assignment. It's, she thought it was 312s. She's like, it's 312s, it's paying like $1,000 a day. This is unheard of, which was, a good, attractive assignment, and she was like, the start date is, she gave me the start date and stuff like that, which was like 10 days away. And I was like kind of interested. It wasn't really in a state that I had ever considered really going to, but I was like, I'm kind of interested. That's some really good pay. And honestly, like, I don't care what the specifics is, as long as the pay is good, the shifts is good. What's up? But I was in the midst of signing another assignment. Well, in the midst of signing another assignment, the other agency, like, and I've worked with them a lot, like the other agency, like a very reputable, great agency, nothing wrong with them. But like the client, which is the hospital I was signing a contract with for that agency, like they was asking all these questions and not really getting back to me fast and stuff like that. And this new opportunity, the crisis opportunity, she's like, are you interested? And I am interested. Tell me the state. Tell me the city. She told me the city. I do a little research, and I'm like, I'm gonna just do a little research while I wait to hear back from this other opportunity, because I'm literally in the midst of it. Like within an hour, I could know more. And she's just like, okay, well, I don't see this opportunity lasting too long. Almost like a salesman. She's like, I don't really see this opportunity lasting too long. And, I'm going through the motions in my head. So what I do is, at the end of the day, like, I mean, there's nothing I can't do anything. Like, I just have to sit here and have these two, recruiters and agencies acting on my behalf. So I decided to do all the research that I could for the crisis assignment, which was like, I wanted to know, okay, what city is it in? Is the city safe? I wanted to know what will my housing look like? Is the price that I'm going to have to pay for housing even worth it? What flights could I take to get there? So I wanted to map it all out because I wasn't planning on driving. The assignment was, I want to say 10 or 12 hours from my house. So I was not planning on driving, baby. So, I was able to roughly see okay, there's a few hotels in the area that's close enough by this, hospital in which I'd be working at. The pay's good, kind of cool. So I gave it a good 30 minutes and I was like, you know what, if I don't get a response by X time from the company I'm, in conversation with about an assignment, I'm going to put in for this crisis. So I put in for the crisis, and there were these two assignments. The one that I was going to assign with, which was going to be a 6-week local contract, was with Aya Healthcare. And then the crisis assignment that I ended up doing was with AMN Healthcare. Just because I want to be able to distinguish the two when talking to you. So she's just they're doing auto offers. So the first people that respond is kind of probably going to get it. So I just end up saying shit, what I got to lose. And yes, I just cussed. I cuss sometimes. So I was like, shit, you know what do I got to lose? And I think I literally text that to the recruiter. So I text that to her and I was like, go ahead and put me in. So she put me in for it. And, I ended up not hearing back until the next day, but I had a rush of emotions because it was exciting to put in for a last minute rare opportunity and go to a place in which I've never experienced. But it also was a little nerve wracking. And within 5 or 10 minutes of me telling AMN basically go ahead, I'll put me in for the crisis assignment, Aya Healthcare responds and basically is hey, the client decided to go with someone else, or something like that. And I know that it wasn't a me thing because I had an inside scoop at that other assignment that basically told me hey, they already sent the offer to somebody days ago, which I don't think Aya Healthcare knew that there was an offer out for a different candidate when the site was also talking to me and asking me questions and stuff like that. And that happens sometimes. So anyways, I was so happy I did it afterwards. I had that validation and that reassurance when, Aya Healthcare basically told me oh, this assignment, isn't going to go through or whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm happy that I, move forward with the crisis. So I moved forward with the crisis, and from the time I signed the contract to the time I started, it was 9 or 10 days. It was 10 days, but then later they came back and was hey, they want to know if you'd be interested in coming a day early. And I'm making over $1,000 a day. I'll do whatever you want me to do. You want me to scrub the ground with a toothbrush? I got you. And yes, I'm being dramatic, but I love making good money. This money was no, I'm not passing up this opportunity. It's a great opportunity. So crisis assignments, they do basically act on people who are available on short-term notice and able to basically commit a good 4 weeks to work in there and work guaranteed overtime. So I like that. And I'm I feel this might be what I want my new normal to be, is to do crisis assignments. That's 4 weeks. It's not too long away from home. And, I already told you the perks of being able to just be away for a short period of time, make better money than what I would on a traditional travel assignment, and still be able to choose some things for myself. Now, during this time, I've seen 5 other crisis assignments. Or wait, I don't know if I want to call them crisis. I've seen 5 other assignments that were only 4 weeks long. Okay. The other places that I've seen it was 2 in Arizona, 2 in California, and then 1 in Michigan. So it let me know, and I seen 1 in Texas. The one in Texas was going to be a 2-week assignment. But basically, I was able to see that this is common. So finding a 4-week assignment is not abnormal. And if you prefer to be at a place 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, that's fine. Do you, boo. But for me, I've done over a dozen assignments. I've already done a lot of long-term assignments. I like the sweet short term because I've seen for myself that honestly, after 8 weeks of being in a place, I'm ready to go. Babe, I'm ready to go somewhere else. So that's a really good sweet spot for me. And the pay was just crazy amazing. Okay, let's move on, Teresa. Ooh, excuse me, y'all. Y'all probably heard that really good on this mic. I might have to edit that out. Okay, so I did get paid every single week. I was making over $1,000 per shift, which was money, baby. That's money. That needs to be the norm. Okay, we all need to be being paid that well. I got paid so freaking well. I got to pay up 2 months worth of bills, as well as book a 3-week cruise for my husband and I, as well as be able to like live and experience the state in which I was working. So that was really really amazing. But yeah, when it came to housing, I ended up choosing housing that was within walking distance of the place in which I'd be working, because I figured that would cut down on like travel and commute times, as well as give me a little exercise in every single day. I didn't want to bring a car. I didn't want to rent a car because that's extra expenses. And there was other people on this crisis assignment with me, and they chose hotels that was like further away from the assignment than what I did, but they brought cars, so it worked for them. And my hotel was more expensive and things like that, but honestly, it was okay, because my thought is the hotel was clean, safe, walking distance, and that was my criteria. So I did that. My flight was expensive. My flight was like over $500, and they ended up reimbursing me. What I didn't like about AMN Healthcare is like they reimbursed me my second paycheck instead of my first paycheck. And honestly, travel healthcare can be expensive like the first week, because if you start on a Monday, although we get paid every single week, you don't get paid until the following Friday. So essentially all the first week expenses are on you. That's flying to the places left on you, commuting to and from the airport left on you. If your hotel charges you weekly, that's left on you. So all of that was left on you. Left on me. So honestly, it cost me like, $2,000 just to be able to fly there, house myself while I was there, feed myself before I ever even seen a paycheck. So, there's that. But if you have a little savings, then, of course you'll be fine. So I did that. While I was there, the people there were just so freaking amazing. They made the assignment like super exciting. Being there for 4 weeks, I was like, okay, let's treat this like a workcation, like a work vacation. And I found some like cute little fitness places to go to that was really close by. I was a Pilates girl. I think I did like 20 fitness classes, maybe 16 to 20 fitness classes. I worked night shift. I prefer working night shift, especially on these strike and these crisis assignments, because, night shift already like usually has a slower workflow. And I'm getting paid the same whether I was day shift or night shift. So it's a slower workflow. I like that I could experience some daytime outside, enjoy some things, go out to eat, walk to the grocery store, things like that. Yeah, whereas if I was day shift, if I was working 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., I would have wanted to get dinner, shower, go to sleep, wake back up. Me being on night shift, I only sleep like 4 or 5 hours when I'm on night shift. So it allowed me to have like that extra 3 hours to explore, which was really freaking cool. And while I was on this crisis assignment for 4 weeks, I did 10 patients, which in sonography, depends on what hospital you work at, but like that could be one day shift, honestly. I did 10 patients cumulative over the course of 4 weeks. I got paid really good money. I got to live in a hotel and feel like wined and dined, and I had to do little to no patients. So that was really cool. I don't know what else I should tell you in this video. I just love it. I just love it. And I would like to do more opportunities like this. I have seen that most of the 4-week assignments are 12-hour shifts, which is great. I did see that 2 or 3 of the assignments were 5/8. If an assignment is 5/8, sometimes you can interview and like ask for 4/10s and ask for 3/12s and stuff like that. Some places may say no, but I prefer to do like 3 or 4/12s when it comes to these assignments, because if they really need help and they're really in a crisis, they may be able to offer you an additional shift. So like if I'm already working 3/12s and you offer me a 4th 12-hour shift, like that's going to be some overtime. If I'm working 4/12s and you offer me a 5th shift, that's going to be 60 hours in a week instead of 48 hours in a week. But if I'm working 5/8, like if you want to work, make extra money, you're going to be working every day. And to me, that's not as worth it. So that's how my experience was. And that's what me and my husband have agreed that that's what we would prefer for our new normal to be, is to get away from the 13-week assignments and to, be able to act on these 4-week assignments. And I am able to act on these 4-week assignments in a short period of time when they hit me up because of my work schedule. I am a PRN ultrasound tech in my state, and I don't have to work that much in order to keep that job. So it gives me the flexibility and the freedom to say like, hey, yeah, I'm available for the next, 30 days to work for you guys or whatever. So there's that. I love it. I love it. If you're a person that likes adapting to new environments often, and you would benefit from a strike contract or a crisis contract. If you're a person that you like consistency and routine for a long period of time, then a 13-week traditional assignment is going to be more for you. And usually on those 13-week assignments, they will allow you to extend. Even on these crisis assignments, I can see them allowing you to extend, because there was one place in particular, it was in San Roman, California. They had that 4-week assignment up for like 5 weeks. So that means that nobody applied for it, or they needed, more hands on deck. So I can see you being able to extend that into a 13-week assignment. However, if you transition from a crisis assignment into a traditional assignment, if you got guaranteed 4/12s on your crisis, your traditional assignment may turn into like 3/12s, which means your rate is going to substantially go down and things like that. But you can weigh those odds and things like that for yourself. But that was my experience for a crisis assignment. I am now a crisis assignment girly. Send them my way. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be doing any assignments before November, because I do have a 3-week cruise coming up. And I mean, there's little to no way I can ask any hospital to give me 3 weeks off when they already are short staffed. So with that being said, I'm gonna hold off on assignments until after that cruise. However, I am open to strike assignments. Send them my way. Bye, y'all.